Well, this is where we are now.
On today's episode of That Shit's Fucked Up. Here we are.
So, we were on the dyno, right?
Yeah, we were on the dyno last night.
Cooking pretty well, right? It was made...
That came to an abrupt stop. So, pretty much, I got around to finally doing a full power pull all the way up to, rev range. And of course, as soon as I let off and the engine came back down to idle, we started hearing this loud, grinding, screeching noise. So I cut the car off. And we heard it coming from behind the timing cover. So pulled the pipe off, pulled the cover back, and then I found a nut lodged in the timing cover, grinding against the cam gear. So you could see right here where it was lodged, and the cam gear was just passing by it and then grinding on it. So
I'm sorry.
that's where it was lodged. Damn. Where's the nut?
Here. Go get the nut. It's on. I put it in a bag. Wow, yeah. Definitely chewed that up a bit. It was making the craziest sound. I'll put that clip in.
So you can see where it was right here. Yep, it fits perfect. So it's right there, and so the teeth of the cam gear passing by were just grinding on the edge of it, and it was just making a horrible noise.
You think it popped off though, because it wasn't loose the entire time?
No, it
was loose, but it
backed out.
Backed out.
So somebody forgot to tighten down the nut for the timing belt tensioner, and it of course backed all the way off, and then got, lodged up in the timing belt area, and then just kind of went for a ride. Which sucks because now I have to tear apart, the front of the engine and get, down there to
figure it
verify that it came from that, which is what I thought it came from, because that's the only nut in the timing belt area that's M8. So, yeah. So as you can see, the stud for the timing belt tensioner, and that's where it came from.
Right there.
Yep.
Where?
There. Yep, so that's where it came off from. And although this would have just been a job of, okay, put the nut back on and torque everything back up, I found another problem upon taking this all apart, which was with the balancer. So, solid aluminum pulley, which I never recommend anyways, fits very loosely. It is the wrong one for this engine. This engine is a NA engine, and I can slide it on and off my hand, no problem, and it's loose. So it's supposed to be an interference fit on the crank, so you should not be able to take this off by hand as easy as that was. And so that's another problem, because I'm not putting this back on. So we're gonna have to get another balancer. So it doesn't look like this thing is getting back together today, unfortunately. I can put the timer stuff back together, but I'll have to stop once I get to the point of needing the balancer, which is annoying.
I mean, the 300 is and this one was really done not it was done well for a 300 as far as ones we've had in the shop. But there are always this is why we say based on our experience, because we see this time and time again, and unless like Jason's, where you put it together from
we
start
did
to finish.
everything completely.
Yeah, so it's
we didn't have any of these problems.
Yeah.
But you start getting a lot of hands put into the car, and it's somebody thinks somebody else tightens up something, so then they don't check it or kind of deal, or simply just dealing with the wrong people or letting the wrong person touch the car. But in this case, somebody just completely forgot to tighten down that nut. I'll go around and check everything else within the area to make sure that everything else is tight, but I also don't know how the balancer being so floppy loose on the crank wasn't spotted, but oh well, I guess.
People just don't know, maybe. Just are not.
Don't know or don't care. Yeah,
I don't know. And our customer unfortunately pays the price, and
then I have to be the bad guy to say, yeah, it's fucked up, and
this is how much it's going to
this is how much
cost.
it's going to cost to fix it.
Yeah.
You can't know everything off the top of your head. So it's not about knowing everything off the top of your head. You have to know how to get the information. Get the right information. So, and some of it is just experience. But yeah. This could have been a very costly mistake because he's got a lot of money into a built engine, and things being left loose never end well. Luckily, the bolts were tight. It was just a nut. But I'll go around and see if anything else is. No. It looks like they just left the nut loose. I guess they just forgot to
Just
torque it.
missed it, yeah, maybe.
Just missed it, but yeah. That's tight.
Well, if you've made it this long with the progress of the 300 in our vlog, we appreciate it. We will be back once the timing is done, once you finish this stuff, and guessing once we get a balancer, whenever that is.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, the car is quick, right? 438. 438.
Yeah, before the nut blew off. I'm sure that probably brought a couple horsepower on top of it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure. I guess, will you throw it back on the dyno, you think?
Probably. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah. So we'll get it back on the dyno, get a final number. I'll show you the balancer and timing. Yeah. And then hopefully we can get this car back to them. They're really, really great guys, and it's a shame. Anytime this happens, we get just as bummed out. Trust me, we have so much work to do.
Yeah, trust me, I don't want to keep your cars any longer than what they need to be.
Yeah, especially, we like to deliver on time and keep schedule, and that's, important to us, so. What a bummer, yeah. All right, guys, well, thanks for watching, and we'll be back with another episode of, what'd you say? What's fucked up today?
Yeah. This shit's fucked up.
This shit's fucked up. Time we left you, what were we doing? You had just done the timing, but you hadn't yet gotten the balancer. So.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at.
When I dug inside to see where that nut came from that flew off on the timing belt tensioner, noticed that the solid aluminum pulley, which I never recommend, just fell off of the crank when I loosened up the not so tight bolt. So I could literally take it and put it on and off by hand, and when it was on, just flop it all the way around. So the housing bore was too large and the clearance was too large because it should be kind of like an interference fit, and it definitely was not. So that was a problem. So solve one issue, went into another. I got the timing stuff situated, and then of course couldn't put the car back together because then we needed the source balancer. Luckily, the customer was able to get a ATI balancer. He worked out with the company who made the solid aluminum pulley, and they worked something out to get an ATI balancer, so he had that on the way, and got that installed, and yeah, that fit the way it was supposed to. I never recommend doing a solid aluminum pulley on any engine, especially these. They have a really nasty harmonic around like 6,500 RPM, 7,000. So putting a solid aluminum pulley on there does nothing to alleviate that. It in fact makes it worse because there's nothing to help dampen those vibrations. So all of that just gets transferred into the bearings and then, wears the engine out faster. So always put a harmonic balancer on the crank, never a solid aluminum pulley. Yeah, I get it. People want lightweight stuff, that way it spins faster, but it's like, you're just going to tear the motor up. There's damn near no benefits to doing that. So, yeah, that's that.
So yeah, I guess they're gonna scoop it soon, right? Oh, you didn't end up throwing it back on the dyno. You just touched up.
No, I left it
check.
at the 440 wheel, like 12 pounds boost. Did a couple of data logs on the street. Everything looked good. I mean, nothing changed from the time we took it off the dyno. We didn't change anything. We just fixed that nut that we found. So, I mean, luckily, yeah, I did get a full hit on the dyno before the nut came loose. So we were able to, make sure everything looked good. And I mean, he didn't want a whole lot of power. I think he only wanted like 300 horsepower, which this thing just swept that under the rug on wastegate pressure. So.
Yeah.
I turned it up a little bit, a couple pounds. The turbo still kind of smokes, so hoping that clears up and it doesn't need turbos. But we'll see. Only time will tell.
Yeah, he's gonna drive it home.
Yeah,
so
it's like a 3-hour drive. So
yeah, so that should.
Hopefully that.
If it still smokes after that, I'd be, if it's.
Yeah.
Then I'd be concerned it may be the turbo.
Well, yeah, you'd probably gonna
One or
need
two,
turbos,
yeah. But hopefully not, and hopefully he can get like some enjoyment out of it. I know he's so excited, and I'm excited for him, and ready to get this back to its rightful owner. I guess he's going to drive it without the bumper too, because now the bumper didn't fit.
No, bumper doesn't fit
shame.
the cooler, so bumper's got to be trimmed up quite a bit to fit, which is not an issue. But they said they wanted to take care of that themselves, and so yeah. They'll get that sorted out, but yeah, he's going to drive it back home 2 to 3 hours, I think, is the ride back home. So, just hopefully we can get some seat time and enjoy the car.
Yeah. The weather, of course, he's supposed to pick it up tomorrow, but the weather is supposed to be some snow or rain or gunk. So,
Dewy weather.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote.
Yeah, for sure.
On to the next one.